Well, I've been away for some time and I have read the Obamacare Act, or the Affordable Healthcare Act, or Affordable Care Act. I know for sure anybody who supports this bill, unless they are directly working in Congress, and I mean Congress, not anywhere else in the government, they have absolutely no idea and supports this bill. They have no idea what this bill is about. Let me boil it down to you. The whole polish on the top of the bill that it has to do with health care at all is a complete snow job. It has almost nothing to do with health care whatsoever. And I mean, I went through it and combed through it piece by piece. This bill, and this is why Obama and the Democrats, remember it was a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House. Instead of them, remember this was passed during the time of the complete free fall that the economy was having. Instead of them trying to pass through legislation that would get the economy back going, get jobs back growing, and get the base of the economy of the United States going, they instead passed this bill. Democrats knew that if they did not take the opportunity to do this, that they would not have any other chance to do it. Also remember that the entire nation, myself included, called in to refute this bill. They called in to refute this bill. They emailed, they mailed, they called in, they messaged, they carrier pigeon against this bill, and Congress and the Senate and the president passed it anyway. And then they made statements like, we have to pass it to read it. Just total horrible statements. And the last revision was not available until 6 hours until the bill was passed. Right? So it was impossible to see what was in the bill because the bill was over 1,000 pages itself. It would have taken everybody in the staff of each congressman and each senator to actually have an intelligent response to the bill. This bill, when it comes down to it, I said it has nothing to do with healthcare. So what does it have to do? It is the largest transfer of power to the presidency in the history of the United States. That's why I say nobody in support of it should support it unless they are directly working on Capitol Hill. This is a power grab. Appearing thousands of times is the statement, the secretary shall determine. In one part, it says the secretary shall determine in contravention to the decision of the patient, in contravention to the decision of the doctor, in contravention to the decision of the healthcare plan, in contravention to the decision of the state law. The secretary shall determine. That's this bill. You have not read it. You don't understand it. You have no clue what you're even supporting if you're for this goddamn bill. Let me take you to some clips and I'll show you what's going on here.
Parts of Obamacare are starting to fray even before full implementation. The administration now says special exchanges designed to make it easier for small businesses to provide insurance will be delayed an entire year to 2015.
It was a huge portion of the sell job. When they passed the law in 2010, there were many senators and members of Congress saying, I'm doing this because it's going to help small businesses.
Since insurance is more expensive for small businesses, analysts now fear many might just stop trying and let workers go on the state exchanges.
Even if it's just a small change of people who are leaving the employment-based insurance and coming into the individual insurance market, their costs and their numbers will overwhelm those who are currently uninsured.
No matter how we reform healthcare, we will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your healthcare plan, you will be able to keep your healthcare plan, period.
Oh, really? Well, guess what? 7 million people are going to lose their insurance, according to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. That's because it's a lot cheaper for a business owner to pay a fine to the government for not covering their employees than it is to pay for their coverage.
You know, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act is really a political circus, Governor. It isn't about care at all. It doesn't protect patients, and it is absolutely not affordable. And we could have seen this happen. Anybody who read the law could have seen this happen. But then we know they didn't read the law before they voted for it. And in fact, they thought they had to pass it in order to read it. That was a tragedy. So now we have this political circus. And quite frankly, humans are doing what humans would do. A man who owns a business wants to keep his business viable. That just makes perfect sense. And when the cost of insurance would put him out of business, well, he has no other opportunity than to drop the insurance. And of course, as you know, theoretically, these people will be able to buy insurance on an exchange if they can afford it. That's yet another problem. And I would say that while the CBO came out with a figure of 7 million losing their insurance, you ain't seen nothing yet. I would suggest that millions and millions more will be losing their insurance, and those that will lose it will probably find it very difficult to afford to buy it themselves.
You just hit upon something I think a lot of people have never thought of. If their employer doesn't provide it, and the employer might not because the business is under 50 employees, so they don't have to. A lot of employers are saying, well, we're not going to let anyone work over 30 hours. Then they don't have to provide it. But the individual is still required by law to have it, so now they have to go out in the marketplace and get it, and the law says they can't be without it. I mean, this is, I think, a piece of this people hadn't thought about. Yeah.
A human tragedy. And sadly, the poorest among us are going to be hurt the worst. You know, people make decisions that usually are pretty intelligent. The American citizen, pretty smart person. They know how to run their lives, and quite frankly, they should be able to make those decisions and make those choices. Many of them have made a choice to buy their children milk, to send their children to college, and have decided to not buy insurance. Now, their insurance will be even more expensive and they'll be less likely to be able to afford it, but now they have to pay a penalty. So life gets a lot more expensive and they sure as heck don't have anything for it. And I would venture to say that when you look at this plan, remember it's not insurance that these people are having to buy. They're buying a benefit package. So the poorest among us are buying fertility coverage for themselves and for their neighbor when they really don't want to buy that. We could, however, have a catastrophic plan. That's yet a different subject. But this is not about insurance, Governor. This is about a benefit package, a huge, unaffordable, bankrupting benefit package that, quite frankly, no one will be able to afford. In fact, last night I was talking to one of my patients, my own patient, who was telling me that she had talked to her insurance company just the other day, and she was warned that her $700 per month insurance policy, pretty expensive, is going to $2,000 a month in 2014.
Unbelievable.
$2,000. Unbelievable. Who in your audience can afford that?
I'm a bit Johnny One Note on implementation of the law, especially with respect to sign-ups and exchanges, et cetera, and I'm very concerned that not enough is being done so far. Very concerned. When I'm home, small businesses have no idea what to do, what to expect. They don't know what affordability rules are. They don't know when penalties may apply. They just don't know. I mean, I was talking to one CPA. You know, he's not histrionic. He just being straight with me. He says, Max, I just got to tell you that, you know, my clients, small business people, are just throwing their hands up, and I don't know what to tell them. That's just from the small business perspective, let alone all the other issues that are going to be arising here. And and people, as I discussed earlier, and as you well know, a lot of people have no idea about all of this. People just don't know a lot about it. And the Kaiser poll pointed that out. I understand you've hired a contractor. I'm just worried that that's going to be money down the drain, because contractors like to make money more than they do like to do anything else. That's their job. They got to worry about their shareholders and whatnot. And also all the other agencies are all involved. People are going to be really confused. And maybe give some thought to a one-stop shopping somehow. So you can go to one location, a business person, one location, to get the answers. I just tell you, I just see a
huge train wreck.
Right now, well into a week into this new program.
A week into it, Wolf, still a lot of glitches. People not able to create accounts just to get information to possibly enroll, much less not being able to enroll actually in the plan. A week in, still a lot of problems. I was just with a database company owner named Luke Chung. He's out of Vienna, Virginia. He has tried to enroll in this since the rollout on October 1st. He, as a database company owner, he knows this stuff. He says it really is just poorly designed. It's just not user-friendly. He's still not been able to enroll, much less navigate and get information. Just when I was with him, he got an error message on his computer saying that he couldn't really go any further. He went into a chat room trying to get information and was told that there are others kind of in line ahead of him. Even just trying to chat with someone there on the website, people are having problems. But what we're also hearing now, Wolf, is that the administration was warned about these potential problems months in advance. We spoke to Robert Leshevsky. He is a healthcare consultant who has clients who are insurers. He says his insurers who dealt with the administration in the months ahead of time, he says the insurers that he dealt with had contentious meetings with people at HHS and other healthcare officials who were in charge of this. Contentious meetings in the months beforehand, before this rollout, warning them, this isn't working, it's not going to be smooth, don't do it right then. He says those warnings were ignored. They went full speed ahead and said, we'll work these problems out. Now, there's been a bit of pushback from the White House. We'll hope to get more later from them. We are running this by them.
Yeah, but if they had 3 years to get this ready, if they weren't fully ready, they should accept the advice that a lot of Republicans are giving them, delay it another year, get it ready, and make sure it works.
Well, when your mainstream media, Democratic liberal media, tells you to take the advice of the Republicans, then maybe, perhaps, just perhaps, it might be time to listen. You saw from the clips a couple of things. Employers are reducing their numbers to get under the 50 employee cap so that they are not required to pay the corporate mandate of paying for insurance for their employees. They are also reducing hours to 30 hours a week, making full-time people go to part-time. Now, of course, I'm assuming that these jobs that are going from full-time to part-time perhaps do not pay $60,000 a year. I'm assuming that this is what we're talking about. We're not talking about a job that pays $60,000 a year to begin with, which is a whole lot of jobs. There are a lot of jobs that are $40,000 and under in the United States. A whole lot, right? So what does that mean? That means that the people that supposedly Obama is trying to help, that this is the speechifying that he's doing, are the very ones that this act will hurt. Right? So they go to 30 hours a week, so they get less pay to begin with. Then the individual mandate kicks in, or has kicked in, or will be kicking in on January 1st. And they will have to seek and pay insurance, being forced to pay insurance themselves. Now, you heard from the doctor, the lady doctor, that her patients say that their premiums are going up by some 300%, if not more, 400%. And that is not, there's a lot of people who are just completely dishonest. They're liars. And they say, oh, no, my premium's going down. They've already polled all of the health plans, all of the insurance companies, in all except New York, which has already been overpaying for insurance because what's his name? The governor there in the city of New York have all of these regulations that require the people to pay some outrageous amount already. Those are the only people who are going to see their premiums go down. But that's because they were paying outrageous, just crazy premiums to begin with. For 99% of the nation, your premiums will go up. What I have not addressed in this is in the bill, they are raising taxes by 40% over the course of 10 years to try and help pay for this. This is on top of, as you saw some of the people mention, the device tax. And the device tax is a direct tax to you. So if you use the device, you have to pay it, not the people who manufacture it. The people who manufacture don't want that to go through because that means less money in their pocket because people will, of course, use those devices less. Literally, people will say, okay, I'm not going to get braces. I know 4% doesn't seem a lot to some people, but when you're paying thousands of dollars, 4% tacked onto that just all of a sudden is a lot. Now, also, we talked about the website. And let me give you a little bit of craziness here. The original budget for the website was like $30 million, which by itself is a crazy budget. And the company who did it is a Canadian company. The ending budget came out to $650 million of taxpayer money. That is crazy. I believe that's the budget for all of food stamps or something like that. And as I see now, and not that I want to include this in this video, but the food stamps went down today briefly. Okay, my hiccups are back, so I have to stop. Please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show.